Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to report about the first consensus conference of IFSO. You know, we heard about the Delphi consensus, what we have done with experts. But this was a consensus of mixed population, experts and non-experts. But experts in the field of bariatric surgery was nearly everybody. But, you know, we make the consensus conference with surgeons who had never done an MGB. This makes a little bit problem. And unfortunately, there's a paper, there was also a voting. And this voting and all the results should be published, and this publication is running and circulating. And it's a little bit political background, but it will be published for sure in obesity surgery. And then you can read the results. But if you see the agreements of the votings, you have all the time in your mind that a number of people are voting or have been voting without any experience. We are only just strongly against. These are the Americans. And we invited it's international, and we have some South Americans. They have also no experience, but you know, we are not so politically engaged. You have also to know in the background that we are the MGB surgeons. We are doing the MGB a long time, like Rui or like you. Yeah, we are in a special club because the IFSO has not accepted this procedure in the meetings under the name and not the topic. And so also the number of the questions has been circulating before, and we have our circulating also before. So there's some political influence. And the most important people who are engaged in the field in a political way, maybe also in the inventor, Robert Rutledge, or the president of the MGB club, Mervyn Didal, have been not invited. So just to know, there's a lot of politics as usual. This is my case mixed disclosure. So I have done nearly all procedures which are available, but I'm happy to have no financial conflicts. And I'm doing the procedure since 2004. So my explanation was 60% had a wide experience of this, members of this. And there have been some also in Asian Pacific. Yeah? There's only just YG doing this, there's a small group, now it's increasing. We now have a lot of an Asian Pacific area, especially India, we're doing the MGB. And but also from Europe have been some presidents of societies there. They have never done this MGB. So this 2 days program, was the IFSO International Consensus Conference. On the one hand, there was a guest paper. So I did not use the name mini in small letters. You find the name OAGB and MGB. And you can read all this presentation in a book I will show you at the end. And you can order this book by the secretary of IFSO for €10. That means £8. And a very huge book with all the presentation, very detailed. So there was the MGB club also interactive, and the proceedings were recorded, yeah, and the statement was published, and hopefully soon. There was 2 topics we're talking about. The main risk, the bile. And also Peter Small sitting here now in the front line, he was talking about the cancer risk. And this is still a topic. Maybe you have shown just now the arguments against. But in the history of gastric surgery, everybody reminds for the Bilroth procedure as for the anastomotic cancer. And there are not so much Mason procedures were done because the Mason procedures, gastric were suffering so much from bile reflux that we all converted. Therefore, we have no data about the long term. And there are some publications on the way, and there's also a brief to the editor of Obesity Surgery focusing on one and the next case. But all these cases are coming up now. They have not a proper preoperative upper endoscopy diagnosed. Yeah? So there's new de novo cancer. Until now, never. The last publication about Bilroth 2 is just came for 2 years ago from Japan, a 94 years old lady, 52 years after Bill 2 with brown anastomosis. So, and this was showing only the incidence of reflux, the main problem what this procedure has. But there are advantages that you see. We have seen it's faster, a lower complication rate, shorter hospital stay, whatever, and it's powerful with a malabsorption procedure. And now Peter Small is here, and the UK health warning about all this problem. But you can read also the presentation of Peter Small and all other in this this book. Yeah, maybe bile reabsorption I have everywhere, and the length of the limb makes a decision. If you have a shorter limb and you have less reabsorption and you have more bile for digestion, and make it longer, then you have a really problem with because you need. It's not only just a question of fat, what we have with the common channel in the bilipancreatic diversion. If you have no bile in the intestine, you cannot absorb any active substance, which means ATPase dependent is glucose. This explains also the strong effect, immediate effect of one anastomosis on diabetic patients. It's much more powerful, but you also the risk point in the long term that you have some deficiencies. And you have also with the fat malabsorption, you have everybody of our patient has a deficiency of vitamin K, for example, or A. And you have to supplement this. And also the bile reflux in the cancer response. We have shown some studies now running on after Roux-en-Y. We have the bile reflux into the remnant. And of all the Musella report, it was reporting his meta-analysis, 75% of the cancers after Roux-en-Y gastric are remnant. The Helicobacter has a strong influence. I know that's the strongest influence, but also the bile is going back in the remnant. And in the MGB, with a small bridge, with a smaller remnant, you have less bile in the remnant. Yeah? So this is showing scintigraphy, and you see that the bile is produced in the liver, goes in the gallbladder, then it goes back on the right side in the remnant. You can see where's the bile in the remnant after bypass, after all bypass. And this was a Musella study. Now she's published. This was summarized. And you see it's excluded stomachs after MGB was 1 and 3 cases after Roux-en-Y, also in the remnant stomach. So, and therefore, that's what I told you, the bile is the bile is essential, but we're handling with the bile completely different to Roux-en-Y bypass, because with 30, 50 centimeters bilipancreatic limb, we have no influence. So, this was on the one discussion. What we learned, also for the discussion for the Roux-en-Y gastric bypass, this was also a topic there. If you can achieve with the bypass surgery also after Roux-en-Y, with a longer bilipancreatic effect, the same effect. But then it's the surgery, it's more complicated. You need a second anastomosis. It looks longer. You have less problems with hyperglycemia, but also internal hernia, it's more, and so on. So you can decide. Yeah? If you are afraid about the anastomotic cancer, then you do a Roux-en-Y with a longer bilipancreatic limb. Yeah? Because this is also relevant. This was what just we learned. But you know, this was a discussion. Nasser Sakran from Israel, he's doing 86% of all primary procedures doing MGB. And the resting amount is for smokers' sleeve. And Raul said, I'm strongly against. It's a disaster. Nobody has to do this. Yeah? So there was a lot of fight, but all the people who had never done this procedure in the United States were voting. So this is maybe what I just summarized. The procedure is established, yeah, and we are different. But we have to say we are different procedures. technically a little bit as the original MGB or Bariatric with a wide sleeve, yeah, with a wide anastomosis without any obstruction. I'm not talking about restriction and obstruction. It's not the same like Caballero with a small, tight sleeve. The limb length isn't like, but the limb length of mobile man below 50 is causing deficiencies. Yeah? And everybody was in favor to measure the total length, but I can tell you, if you have a surgery, you exclude 150, there's no need, because I've never seen. Roberto Tachino was the publication. The lowest on the slide was shown 3 meter 50 is not right. 4 meter was the shortest one. And if you have 4 meters and you exclude 1 meter 50, there is no risk. But the PPI treatment is essential. There was no agreement, no consensus. But what we're learning, we extended PPI more and more. One using for male, for female. There was no consensus. This was a consensus also that we have upper endoscopy, should include upper endoscopy controls. And after 5 years, we need vitamin A, D, and A supplementation, and we need also the measurement of PTH, and the cancer risk was discussed. So we will have the problem in the anastomotic area, and sometimes we will have also a cancer, and everybody's crying. Then we have to calculate, it's really a risk point. You know, what I give you last the message, that's my personal, we have done this in the first years, in the first 10 years, we are not offering the procedure to patients less than 40 years. Now we completely changed. Just the young one is indication for the MGB. Why? These are microrobots, you know. I'm sure that with the gene technology and nanotechnology, and with a completely different robotic surgery, whatever, everything will be changed. In 15 years, we are not doing anymore the same procedures. But the MGB is easily reversible. It's shown today, it takes 15 minutes. If you do the first case, 20 minutes. And you can restore easily to the normal stomach if you have such a new development. And if somebody is 20 years and you have the new options in 35 years old, it's all. And this is a book. Yeah? There are nice drawings in a book, and you can order this. And Kamal and Jean-Marc I show it again. I like it.